Hi guys, welcome to my first challenge video. So we're doing the Draw It Again challenge. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this and I wanted to try it because my whole channel is on progression, so I thought it was a very niche challenge. So we're going to do Draw It Again challenge, the Gravity Falls edition, because this is the first sketchbook I ever started with. It was in June 24th. Bring that into frame. 2016 was when I first started. So the first thing I ever drew. And so these are all in this sketchbook here. These are all Gravity Falls characters. You see here I have 3 pages for my favorite characters. And then I have the Mystery Shack. So I'm going to use references and try and draw the crew from Gravity Falls plus some background scenery on this big pad I have here in front of me. So it's just gonna be a speed time-lapse video, but I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me. I think you can now. I recorded like 5 minutes of my voice because I've never done this before. And it didn't record anything because I've never done this before, so I never set up the Razer Kraken microphone to actually record. So that was fun. But we're back. We're here now. And this is the fan art. So there are probably going to be a couple of questions. Probably number one is going to be why I didn't pick my own artwork, or why did I pick a fan art. And I decided to pick a fan art as a base because I think it was one of the best things that I drew when I first started. Because when I first started, I didn't know how to draw anything on my own. So I copied fan art and stuff so that I would have a base level of what I was doing. So that's why I picked fan art over something that I drew myself. And I knew for a fact that I would draw something that I've drawn, oh my god, words, something that I've drawn myself better because I have made progress since June. So I'm just sketching with the Kuratoga. That's my limited edition Snoopy pencil, Kuratoga. I really love this pencil. I take it everywhere with me. If I broke this pencil, I would be devastated and I wouldn't know how to live. What else? I've never done this before. I am recording over my drawing for the first time ever. It's a little strange. I don't really know what to say. A lot of people go into, oh, I did this with my drawing, or I did that, and I'm like, well, it's just fan art. I don't really need to do that. But I also don't want to go find music and maybe it could get copyrighted. So I don't want to really deal with that too much. So you guys can just listen to me talk for a little bit and then maybe I'll find some music somewhere. I'm really dissatisfied with the way the coloring came out. My Copics were actually running out of ink. So a lot of the colors and everything were very messed up, and a lot of the colors weren't actually the correct colors because I don't have that many colors in my Copics. I could have done watercolors, but I haven't worked with them enough to feel confident enough to actually go in there and use watercolors to mix precise colors. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. But this is the paper that I'm working on is just Canson XL paper. I have the biggest pad they make. And I really like this. The original the original fan arts that I did were in the smallest type little sketchbook. So I realize I'm not giving sizes and that's not helping anyone. The eraser is a mono 2-in-1. It's got on the other side, it's got a whitener strip thing that does erasing for like pen. I personally really love Gravity Falls. That's why it's the first fan art I ever drew. It's because I was obsessed with it last year, and I just really love the story. I know I'm it's I've heard a couple of people say, "Oh, it's for kids. It's a cartoon." Yeah, but it's a really good cartoon. There are not that many cartoons that could go and do what Gravity Falls did and still be considered a cartoon and have all the sci-fi supernatural and plus all the different references that it has. I just find it to be really fun. So, my favorite character from Gravity Falls is Dipper. I don't know why he's my favorite character. He just is. I don't like very goofy characters, so I'm not terribly fond of Mabel. I mean, I love Mabel. She's, she's an integral part of the story, but she's not my favorite character. A lot of people say Mabel's their favorite character. It is not my favorite. She is not my favorite character. For a while, Wendy was my favorite character, and then by the end of the show, Dipper became my favorite character. So that's what happened there. I was using a picture for reference. I brought it up on my iPad. You guys saw at the beginning of this video. I wanted to draw, instead of just drawing like static characters in fan art, I wanted to draw like a scene, almost like something that, could happen in the show. So I ended up drawing them, pretty much Wendy, Mabel, and Dipper hanging out around the Mystery Shack. And Dipper's hiding behind a sign in the corner. You'll see that in a little bit. While Wendy is jumping back from Mabel, who is surprising her. So that's the whole story behind this little picture fan art thing. I I really like the way this turned out. It's for a fan art, I really like it. So the footage is sped. I think I don't know if I said this time or last time, but the footage is sped up 300%. I draw really slowly. I haven't been drawing that long, so that's definitely why. And let's see, the markers that I used were Blick Studio markers. I've done a couple of unboxings and hauls of those, so I got a set of Blick Studio markers, and I have a couple of Copics. So that is what I colored this with. I am very limited on colors. Let's see, what else? What else do you guys want to know? I don't really know how to do one of these. This is my first one, so there's going to be a lot of static, I don't know, talking. I'm really good at that, thankfully. I'm really good at talking about nothing. And, yeah, what am I doing here? I'm just gonna I'm just gonna, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm probably looking up I'm looking at up a reference picture of Wendy there. That's what I'm doing. So in this fan art, I decided to take the characters and draw them how I would draw a regular one of my characters now. So I guess you could say it's in my style, but I am far too early in the learning to draw process to actually have a style. So the eyes and face are based on the original style of the characters, while as the way I am drawing them is my style. So actually this is just me copying the style, and then I decided, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to draw these in kind of my-ish style. So that's what I did. That's how I draw a basic face there with a circular rectangular thing, and that's how I draw hair. So that's that's what I did. I decided to draw them in my weird kind of almost style that I have going for me. And then I did take the eyes from the characters because I wanted the faces of the characters to be recognizable in a way. So it's fan art, but it's styled my way, I guess I could say. The originals were just base copies because I couldn't even draw a straight line. What else? What else do we have here? It's 9 minutes, and this is a 27-minute video. It's originally the video, like I said, was about 2 hours, and I sped it up 300%, so it's only 27 minutes. But that's still a really long video, like seriously long. I wonder how speed painters do it. Like, I know most speed painters have music, but I've heard people talk during some of the things. And I don't know, I like to listen to people talk while I sketch and draw. So maybe you'll enjoy listening to me ramble on about things. Well, you sketch and draw at home. Maybe draw some Gravity Falls fan art. It's an amazing show. If you haven't seen it, by the way, please go watch it. And you don't mind cartoon art styles, or you just don't mind watching cartoons. There are a lot of people I know that hate cartoons, like won't watch any of them, and I don't understand. But that's just me. So yeah, what am I? Oh yeah, here the camera. I'm trying to get the camera to stay, to make sure that it stays where it is. It was actually slipping and turned in the first shot I have. This was split into several half-hour recordings because my camera only records for half an hour. So it actually stops recording and then I have to re-record it. So there's a lot of blank space in some places where it just freezes on a frame, and that's what it records for the last like minute of the footage. So I'm just I got really frustrated with it and left it in. What I decided to line this picture with, originally I picked up a Copic multiliner, and I have this problem with my Copic multiliners where the felt part of the pen moves when I line things. So it's like using a brush pen, but it's a multiliner, and I despise it intensely. So I ended up lining Mabel with the multiliner, the Copic multiliner. And then I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I ended up grabbing a Sakura 0.3 micron. And that's what I ended up using. The Sakura micron pens, compared to the Copic multiliners, are much thicker. At least mine. I lined Mabel with a 0.3 Copic multiliner. And then I lined the rest of the picture with the 0.3 micron, and it's completely different. I think my microns have either my multiliner has a really thin tip, and that's the reason why I have problems with it, because it doesn't properly fit in the pen, or my microns are huge, and when I draw with them, they fit in the pen and they don't move at all, which I love. I love a lot. So that's my problem with my Copic multiliners. If I had to do it all again, I would not buy them. I would be like, nope, those pens, I don't like them. I bought them at Michael's, for the record. So I actually erased part of the picture because I changed my mind. I didn't really know where to put Mabel, and I really wanted her to be in the picture. That pen that I'm using right now, that brush pen, is the Copic Gassen Fude pen. I decided to line the text in that brush pen because I wanted to get a really thick kind of lined feel for them. You can see my hair. Sorry, just a little hair. It's fine. And I also decided to use my red Copic immediately, and I didn't line the words for the mystery shack. That's just what I decided to do with some of the text. It's a lot. So that's my Copic multiliner there. And as you can see, some of the things I'm lining with it are it's a very thin line. And I'm also having trouble sometimes even lining anything because I'll be putting it pen to paper and it just won't write because the little felt tip has moved to the other side. So in a minute here, I'm going to get really frustrated and change to my Micron. You guys are probably going to see my head a little bit, and I'm not, like I said, this is the first one I've ever done. So I'm not perfect yet. It's not tried and tested like all my other work. I have recorded a lot of different stuff. I have a ton of videos on my other channel and a ton of videos on this channel already. At least it's a ton to me. I have over 300 videos on my gaming channel, which is insanity. I can't believe I've recorded that much. But then again, I've had that channel for a really long time. Yeah, that I got frustrated and it was like, Copic multiliner, goodbye. So yeah, the lining is definitely much thicker on the Micron. You can tell after I erase everything. Which, by the way, I didn't cut out. I just was like, oh, I'm going to erase it. So I'm going to cut it out in the editing process, which should be fun. So I'm lining Wendy there. You can tell the difference in style from Gravity Falls to me, my little odd style. I have the hiccups because of course I do. Whenever I go to record, I either get like a coughing fit or I have the hiccups or I don't know. The tree is done completely in Gravity Falls drawing fashion. I just kind of took that tree and made it. I was like, well, this tree is mine. I'm terrible at drawing trees if they're not silhouettes, so that's why I did that. I don't really know if there's any style in the Mystery Shack. I didn't copy it board for board, and the gifts portion of the building there is actually much shorter than the Mystery Shack, but I wanted to have room to put Dipper over there with the sign in the corner. So that's why that's like that. I made an artistic decision. I don't make very many of those, except I do. I actually really like the way this came out, other than the color. I think I said that before, but the problem with the shadows is there's really no shadows in the color because I couldn't get a really rich feeling of ink in it for a while. The way that the kind of log cabin feel to this house is drawn, it's really amazing. It's alluded to, but not actually seen. I actually grew up in a log cabin, so I've lived in a cabin most of my life. And whenever I would try to draw my house, when I lived at home, I couldn't allude to the fact that it was a cabin, and I think Gravity Falls did it amazingly well. Gravity Falls did everything well. I can't have enough praise for Gravity Falls. I truly love the show. And I love all the characters, really. Even though I say Dipper is my favorite, I love all the characters. I couldn't just, be like, oh, this character's mine. I want to see a show about this one character because it's just, I could never do that. Sorry, taking a little drink of my tea. My tea got cold. I made tea. And when I get into a drawing, I don't drink anything or do anything but draw. So I made tea, sat down to record, and didn't drink a single sip. It's just a full cup of tea here that's been sitting here for like an hour and a half. And I don't want to go warm it up in the microwave, so it's just cold tea now. It's iced tea. So I'm really going to have to work on, when recording next, my face in the corner. I wanted to get a good product, so I didn't make any cutbacks in recording like I or other people should or have. Also, I didn't put anything on the ground there, like any gravel or a path or anything, even though there is a path there. And it's just an artistic choice, really. So I'm getting out my kneaded eraser to erase my lines, and I will see you guys back when I'm done. So I'm back now, and I'm adding color with my Copics and my Blick Studio markers. The coloring job is not done well. I didn't, or should I say, in the lines all the way. Sometimes I just kind of splotted color around because I have a very messy way of coloring, and it had already been like an hour and a half, and it's way too late for me to be up right now. Also, I noticed after I was done recording everything that Mabel doesn't have a nose. And you know what? That's a stylistic choice. I just didn't draw a nose for Mabel. So she doesn't have a nose. But I think she's pretty much a goofball. She's just a crazy goofball, so it doesn't matter if she has a nose or not. That's my thoughts on that. I noticed after I was coloring her face that she didn't have a nose, I was like, it's Mabel. it's Mabel. She doesn't need a nose. So anyway, that's the thing that happened. It's not my best work completely. My markers are over to the side. I have to make sure next time that I put them on the other side. But I actually have a stack of books next to where I record there. It's a bunch of old sketchbooks and stuff, so it was really hard to move them on the other side. So they're either in the paper or simply around. There's like nowhere to put them. I have a very limited range of colors. That's all the Book Studio markers I have, and then you'll see a whole pile of Copics eventually. And I have the hiccups again. The Blick Studio markers really smell really badly, actually. So it was a little tough to continue to draw with them for such a long time as I did. I have to remember next time not to do that. With Wendy's hair, I colored it brown first, and then I added an orange color to it. I wanted to give her like a darker brown colored hair because she's kind of in the shadow there. So that's what I ended up doing. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look Wendy enough. Her face really makes the character that appeared there. Her face, you can tell by her outfit and her face that it's Wendy, but other than that, there's really nothing to tell. I didn't take a reference for the colors, just because I wanted to draw whatever colors I wanted. So that's why if some of the colors are off on one of the characters' shirts, I know that Mabel's skirt is off, and obviously Wendy's hair is off. So that's why I didn't take a reference for any of that. I just wanted to have like a fun picture that I drew that's fan art, but in my own little weird way. I wanted to make it my own, so I did with Copic colors. I really wanted to get the windows a nice color, but the windows, I didn't have like a darker yellow, and I didn't want to make them orange, so they're yellow. They're canary yellow, to be specific. Also, my leather Copic is running out of ink. Can you tell? I didn't realize when I bought these Copics that pretty much all of them were out of ink. I bought, I don't know, I have about 10 Copics, and I bought 5 of them at Michael's. So, all the ones that I bought from Michael's are out of ink. Like, do you see how grainy that is? I just bought that. I've barely used that Copic, and it's already like that. So, to kind of mend the fact that it has no ink, I meshed the leather with the caramel color, the caramel Blick Studio marker. But some of my Blick Studio markers are also running out of ink. So the patchy and craziness that is this picture's coloring scheme is for only me to enjoy, really. The Copics that I use that I bought refills for work just fine. The colors look great. Like the red there looks fine, and other than the fact that I drew it completely messily. The red and the green and the blue on Wendy and Mabel are all perfect. They look really good. But yeah. So these, I just bought them and they're already pretty much out of ink. That's mate. Really, really amazing. Okay. So the moss on top of the shack, I had a little bit of problems with finding a color for them, but I think the one that I chose was the best. Also, I didn't add any flavor or anything to the shack other than the colors that I used. So that's how I really decided to make the wood grain, was with the leather Copic and the caramel Blick Studio marker, which I think actually made a really good woodish grain looking thing. I'm actually pretty proud of that grain there. I haven't colored with my Copics in a while, so I mostly stick to pencil sketches now. I haven't done a finished piece in, I don't know, maybe 2 months. So to go from that to this, I think is pretty good. Also, some of the ink with the Copic and Fude pen actually ran a little bit. Everything else was fine. It was just that brush pen. I guess I didn't let it dry quick enough. Even though I felt like I waited a long time before I colored the shack. So you can see above the M there, it's a little smudgy. But that's alright. It just kind of adds to the wood grain flavor of the picture. So thank you guys so much for watching, and my current self, my past self, has something to say.
Alrighty guys, so that's it for my little draw it again challenge. I really was excited to do this because I haven't seen that many draw it again challenges with fan art. But before I didn't have my own style. When I first started, I didn't have a style. I essentially just copied what I saw. So this was the best way for me to show any progress that I made. So that's why I did this. What do you guys think? So those are the original sketches. This is the completed little scene here. And I really like it. I think I did a lot better with everything except the coloring, which I didn't do originally, which turned out terribly in this. But everything else I'm really proud of. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go subscribe down below if you want to see. I post videos up on this channel every Friday. It's Learning to Draw Weekly. I'm learning how to draw. I started in July of 2016, and I'm just, I'm a noob. I'm just a beginner at drawing, so that's what I do on this channel. I also have a gaming channel if you want to check out the links below. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!